Hi guys, I hope you're all really well. I've got something a little different for you today. As you can probably tell from the title, it's not fashion or beauty related. It's just a feeling I have quite a lot of the time. And I was feeling it and thinking about it the other day and I thought, I can't be alone in this. I know from talking to friends, they certainly feel like it sometimes. So I thought I'd try and film a video talking through why I feel like this and how I get my head back around feeling like this. And yeah, I'm hoping as I just chat and talk it through that it'll make a bit of sense. I started like jotting down how I feel and what makes me feel this way and why I think I feel this way, and I literally had written like 6 pages within about 10 minutes. So yeah, it was quite empowering to write it down, and even if I don't actually post this video anywhere, I feel like it was quite good to just get it out and on paper. So the first thing I would suggest is if you are feeling inadequate or feeling a bit uncertain about yourself or questioning yourself, questioning your abilities and just worrying about things a little bit too much. I certainly worry about things a lot, yeah, and I think I worry about things too much. So if I'm worrying about things too much, I think writing it down and getting it all down in one place is a good place to start. I honestly feel quite overwhelmed a lot of the time. I feel like I've got so many ideas in my head and so much potential in my head, and there's so many things I want to do and want to achieve and want to see and want to be a part of, and I just get really overwhelmed because a lot of the time I don't know where quite to start or even how to start. Like, I had a really good idea for an app literally a year ago and nothing's ever become of that because I don't, like, despite my research and despite speaking with people and really trying to push myself, I still don't really know anywhere near enough about the whole process of it or even have the finances to go and see someone else and get them to do it. So I feel like I have all of these ideas and all of these options and abilities but no actual capabilities. Like, I feel like in my head I have this ability to do these things, but when it becomes an actuality I question everything and query whether I can more than whether I should, and I feel like that is a real problem for me. I just also as well, I know it sounds silly and every time I say it to anyone they always just kind of shrug it off, but I'm so aware of how old I'm getting and how, I know it's silly, but you know when you're a lot younger and you kind of set yourself these targets of what you want to do, like whether you want to be married or have children or have a house or have a really great job by a certain age, and it took me so long to get into the industry that I so love being a part of and so love being involved in, and that I then worry that I'm now going to be 26 this year, and in my head I thought I'd be married with a house and thinking of children by 27, and I honestly could not even conceive the idea of any of those things at all right now. It's totally not the headspace I'm in, it's totally not where I am financially or anything like that, or not there. And I think admitting to myself and accepting that as often as I can helps, because whilst I really want these things, I'm not currently there, and it's fine that I'm not currently there because there's still time. But I also feel like whilst I still have a lot of time, and realistically I'm not that old, and my window for bits and bobs is getting smaller and smaller, and that gives me such anxiety, and I think about it a lot, and I try and tell myself every time that I'm just kind of really overthinking it and setting myself entirely unrealistic expectations and goals. And then I think I need to give a bit more credit to myself and think where I am now, what I've achieved that day. And I'm constantly reminded of this with my little niece when my sister-in-law puts up pictures of her like walking along or like feeding herself or clapping or silly things like that, that they're all great things that she's achieved that day, and it's like the most basic thing, but it's such a celebration that she's managed to do it or she's doing it on her own. And I think that I personally give myself quite high goals and targets to try and get to and try and achieve. I then overlook the smaller things, and I think it's so important to give yourself credit and give others credit where it's due, and just try and remember that whilst you might not have done X, Y and Z, you've done A, B and C, and like it's really good that you've done A, B and C, and that smaller, more achievable goals are just as satisfying to reach because they will then lead to the bigger goals, because I'm giving myself these goals in my head that I then question my capabilities and whether I'm able to do them or right to do them or doing them right or doing them wrong. And I don't know whether as well it's because I really like to be busy. I hate feeling like I'm wasting my time and I'm not doing as much as I can in a day. And whilst I have like confidence in general areas, I lack confidence in my actual intellectual ability. I really enjoy pushing myself, but when the time comes around for me to actually do the thing that I've really wanted to do for months and months and months, say, I just go into a complete state of worry that I'm just not good enough to actually do it. I don't feel like I'm the right person to do it, and then I question everything, and it's so silly. I just take myself in this circle of worry, and whilst I'm quite good at getting out of it very quickly, and my boyfriend is so good at just talking me out of it and just being like, come on, this is silly, it's always there, like that niggling sense at the back of your head that you're just not doing as well as you could. And I feel like I have this sense of inadequacy as well, because whilst I really aspire to and aim to create really, really good things, I really try and create and do as well as I can in as many areas as physically possible. There's almost a conflict between my aspiration and my feeling of inadequacy. I do feel like there's like an ego and a sense of entitlement for it to actually come out, for the thing to actually become the best thing it can be, because it's like, why should it be the best thing it can be the first time? Like, shouldn't it be something you've learned and you've developed and you've achieved and you've worked out and you've kind of got to that place that it's that good? Like, it seems to require an ego, and I'm like I really struggle with egos and that kind of self-entitlement and things like that. I'm just terrible at it. I'm such like a self-deprecating person. It just makes me feel really awkward, and yeah, and that's another thing I need to kind of get my head around more. I'm so terrible with taking compliments off people. I just kind of brush them off and don't actually take them for what they are. And I think if I did take them for what they are, I would feel maybe a bit better. I don't know. Ego is certainly something I struggle with quite a lot. I'm possibly the worst person at promoting myself, pitching myself to other people, and embracing what I've achieved and what I've done. I'm very quick to brush it aside, but I just find it feels so awkward to be like, yeah, I've done this, this and this. But the people who are like, yeah, I've done this, this, this is what you can do, this is what I've done, this is what's coming next, are the people that seem to just be crushing it and doing everything so, so well. And I'm just like sat there like an awkward person in the corner. And it's something that I so admire. Like, I've worked with and met quite a lot of bloggers and YouTubers recently that are so successful in their fields, and they're so, so great at promoting themselves, and they're so fearless at going out there and grabbing the opportunity because they truly believe in themselves. And I think whilst I really try to believe in myself, I think my self-belief and my worry of inadequacies kind of almost trump it, which is so annoying. And then from that again, I then think, oh, I've like missed out on that relationship, I've missed out on that friendship, I've missed out on that moment, I've missed out on all these things because I didn't believe in myself and I felt inadequate when I shouldn't feel like that. And if you're feeling like that, you shouldn't feel like that. But it's just so much easier to think negatively and criticize yourself than it is to praise yourself. And that is, I think, the crux of the problem. And I think as well, because everything's so busy and you're constantly putting your all into your work, your personal life, your friends, your family, and trying the other areas like trying to do YouTube videos and trying to do a blog and trying to make sure my Instagram looks pretty and trying to get pictures for my Instagram. There's so many moments where you're so busy that when I stop, I often feel really empty. And the thing that I took most from like talking to friends about this is something that they feel in all areas of their life too, like whether it's professionally, whether they've been promoted and they don't really feel like they were that ready to be promoted and they're now panicking, or worrying that they're never ever going to be able to find the right house or save up enough money to buy the right house, and they just feel really inadequate against other people, and other people are now engaged. And it's just that kind of pressures and social pressures and professional pressures that you put on yourself that other people can talk you through. And I find, and I hope that I'm quite good at talking my friends through them and helping them see things and see their success and their great attributes in a better light, but I'm not very good at talking myself around those. And I think as well, like through no remote fault of like my family or anyone like that I've got a close relationship with, there's that feeling that I think I've always had. And I think mainly actually probably through going to a girls' school for 7 years, like that I always personally thought quite aesthetically. And I thought, oh, if I was skinnier, if I was taller, if my thigh was longer and I had longer legs, I might get the gap. If my teeth were bigger, my gums wouldn't be on show when I smiled. If my lips were bigger, that wouldn't be a problem. If I had smaller hands, smaller feet, like literally everything. I always go back to, if this was like this, then this would be okay. And it's such a silly thought process that I don't know where it stems from, but I really wish I could eradicate it. And it's something I so passionately try and push on my sister, to not feel like that and to not equate success and happiness with looking good and the kind of outside look. And you often hear how so many people who are beautiful and rich often feel so lonely and inadequate too, and it's just this silly thing that like the grass is always greener when it's really not. But I think truly feeling comfortable in your own skin really helps, and it's something that I'm trying to be more actively aware of and comfortable within now more than ever, to just be happy and confident in yourself and where you are, what you're doing, whether you're wearing a size 8 pair of jeans or a size 18 pair of jeans, it doesn't matter as long as you are happy with yourself. It doesn't matter. And also importantly, more so than ever last year, there were so many tragedies. So like reminding myself that I'm healthy, I've got a really loving family, I've got the most supportive boyfriend, I've got lovely friends, and reminding yourself of all the good things that you have and all the good things that you've done. And whether that's each day or each week or each month, there are so many small good things that you do in a day that could altogether, when you think about them, like entirely eradicate that feeling that you had. Like I've got it now talking about it. That knot in your stomach where you think, oh gosh, I'm just not good enough, I don't deserve to be here, I'm not the right person. And the more I push myself when like the opportunities arise that make me feel a bit anxious and make me start to question my ability, instead of going down that path, I'm trying to push myself to go down the other side that makes me really excited and really enthused at getting involved with something that's challenging me in a new way. And because there's so much to learn from that, and there's so much that will help you grow from that. I think feeling inadequate can often make you feel quite isolated, and I think it's good to remind yourself that it's not just you who's feeling like this. A lot of people feel like that too. And whilst it's fine to question your abilities, trying to harness that and actually empower yourself and believe in yourself is something you can do. So yeah, I don't know if this ramble was actually any use to anyone. I feel a bit better putting it out there and saying it aloud, so I hope it has. And if you'd like to see more kind of chatty, straight talking things from me, then let me know, because it's certainly been something totally different to anything I've ever put up on this channel before. So there's that. I hope you have a good rest of your week, and if you are watching this and feeling a little bit low or questioning yourself, try not to, because you're great. You're probably doing so well in so many areas, and you've just not given yourself the credit for it. Celebrating the small things really helps you get your head around the bigger things. I hope it helps you a little bit. And so yeah, I don't really know if this made any sense at all, but I truly hope it did, and I hope it helped. And I'll see you next time. Bye.